In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate the concept of using graphics within your Python code. Now, what this means is that we can draw shapes and patterns in Python language. So here, let's take a look at what graphics are and how to use them within Python. Before I actually get into the code, let me just briefly clarify the Cartesian coordinate system. The way Python works, for instance, is that you have to specify points on a coordinate plane. In other words, tell Python, right? So remember that we need to provide instructions to Python what needs to be done. So a Cartesian coordinate system is a system that specifies each point uniquely in a plane by a pair of numerical coordinates, which are assigned distances to the point from two fixed perpendicular directed lines. So this is similar to your x-axis and y-axis, a simple concept in math, and that's measured in the same unit of length. Each reference line is called a coordinate axis or just axis of the system, and the point where they meet, in other words, where the two lines meet, is its origin. And usually an ordered pair, which is 0, 0. In other words, a point on x-axis will be at 0 and the point of y-axis will be at 0, which will form the point of origin. Here's what it looks like. So in this diagram, there are 4 points that are marked and labeled from their coordinates. For instance, the points 2 and 3. So 2 from the x-axis and up to 3 on the y-axis, where the two lines meet. This would be the coordinate called 2 and 3. Similarly, it can be -3 and 1, or -1.5, -2.5 in blue, and the original 0, 0 is in purple. So you get the idea. So the reason why I brought this Cartesian plane up is because when you draw things in Python, or when you draw patterns in Python, we have to specify coordinate points. The turtle graphics is a popular way for introducing programming, and it's pretty common as well. There are many modules in Python that provide very powerful features that we can simply use in our own programs. We use the turtle module by importing it into Python, and then once the turtle module is imported, we can make use of different methods or provide different commands, and Python would execute those commands as per our requirements. So here are the different commands. For instance, once you import the turtle graphics by providing the import turtle command in Python, the most commonly used commands are degrees, clear, radian, reset, up, down, left, right. So in other words, you can tell Python what to do. If you need to draw a line or a circle, you can use any one of these commands. And these are again the common ones, and there's a comprehensive list available as well. So here's a simple example. Let me demonstrate how to draw patterns in Python, just so that you get the concept of how to do this within your Python code. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my editor here by clicking on File, New File, and this brings up our blank editor shell. So I'm going to move this right here so we can see. So our first line of code will be, I'm going to start off with a comment. So I'm going to say something like, this is how you would import the turtle module. And the command is simply import turtle. Okay. So here I've simply typed import turtle, and notice how Python color codes it. So here, for instance, if I need to say something like, after of course I've imported the turtle module, I can say turtle.forward. I can use a method here, and then I can say move 90 degrees, and of course I need to spell the word turtle correctly. And what this would do is simply move a point on the coordinate plane forward. So let me in fact run this and see what happens. So let's click on run module. Python wants me to save. Click OK to save, and this brings up my Explorer window where I'm going to navigate to my Python folder and simply provide a name of the file to be saved or name of the module to be saved here. So I'm going to call it graphics and click save. And what this does, it brings up the canvas area or the Python Turtle graphics window, and it draws up a line forward to the right using an arrow. So let me move this aside so we can actually see, and also our code as well. There we go. Let me do something like turtle dot right, and I'm going to say 120 and see what happens. Let's run this again. Run module. OK to save. And at this point, notice as soon as I provide the 120, what Python does is simply changes the direction. And of course, if I say turtle dot forward one more time, say something like 90. Now if I run it again, click on run module. OK to save. And notice at this time, since the direction is changed at 120, and then I told Python move forward one more time, 90, it's going to move in that direction. So you get the idea. You can draw up shapes, you can draw up circles, you can draw rectangles, squares, and any other pattern. Sky's the limit depending upon your own requirement. Let me in fact create a new file here, close the existing one. Here's our code window. All right, great. I'm going to close the turtle graphics also. Perfect. So here I'm going to do another example, okay, just so that we understand graphics completely. In the previous example, we took a look at how to draw lines and how to tell Python to move forward, left, up, and down, but that could be lengthy. For example, if you need to draw 10 different rectangles or circles or triangles or whichever shape, you'd have to write quite a bit of code telling Python each time what needs to be done. And recall from our previous lessons, we took a look at the for statement or the loops, right? So we can tell Python to quickly do something for us. So here I'm going to demonstrate, for instance, let's say import turtle, and then I'm going to specify a variable. How about Alex here? Just a name. Then I'm going to say turtle dot use the method here. And once I've defined a variable, then I can say for I, in other words, do the iteration, right? So for I and here's a list using our brackets. So I'm going to say 0, 1, 2, 3, okay? And then complete our list. Use a colon, because every time you use a for statement, Python automatically indents it, and then specify what needs to be done. So now here I can say move Alex forward, okay, about 5, 0, and then Alex should also be moved to the left, 90, okay? So it's going to iterate 4 times, like 0, 1, 2, 3, right? For and I. Here's my list, and I'm telling Python to move the variable forward 50 and then left 90. And let's see what happens when I run this module. Let's click on run module. Of course, need to save the module first. Click OK. Brings up our Windows Explorer window. Let's navigate to our Python's folder under data files, Python. And let's just give it a name. Call it my graphics. Click save. And what Python does, it brings up the Turtle Graphics window and draws up, in fact, a square for you. Because essentially, in our code, here we're telling Python, first we're defining a variable, and then we're telling it move 4 times. In other words, iterate 4 times. And Python does exactly that. So this is another way you can draw up shapes quickly in Python using the loops and telling Python what needs to be done. So in this lesson, the concept of graphics was introduced and demonstrated by giving a few examples. Practice using other methods in graphics. It's a powerful way and a fun way to tell Python what needs to be done. And let's move to our next lesson.